So Johnny, Stu Balls tells me you are a second generation trucker. Tell me about Dad.
Yeah, Dad drove for about 40 years before he passed away. I used to go travelling with him all the time. Since I was about 10 and 11, I could drive. He used to sit over on the left-hand side and make me drive across the hay plains.
How old were you then?
About 12 or 13.
Yes. So what years was he driving?
Back in like the 60s and the 50s, the 80s.
What kind of trucks?
Max, Kenworths, Mercedes Benzes, Dodges.
Not quite the creature comforts that you're driving with, mate.
No. I started off in an old 1418 Benz though, in 75.
75?
Yeah. He was in a Benz and I was in a Benz.
Wow.
Yep.
What do you love about it? Like, what did he love about it?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose freedom a bit. I don't know, just travelling everywhere, I suppose, yeah.
So what are your memories of that?
Oh, I can remember everything. Well, you know, right back until I was little, when I used to go with him all the time.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to do. Leave school when I was 15, become a trucker.
Is that right?
Yeah, I used to drive everywhere with him. I used to play hard back in them days, them blokes.
Yeah. Bit of Slim Dusty on the stereo, on the old cassette, or?
Yeah, Slim Dusty and bloody Johnny
Cash and those kind of guys.
And all those blokes.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they used to play hard. Quite a few pubs.
Yeah.
Quite a few pub stops. On the way to Sydney, on the way home, they were always stopping at pubs.
Yeah.
There'd be, 10, 12 in a group. Always travelling together. Back in them days. All the old Robinvale boys and that.
I mean, living in Mildura too, you're right in the centre of everything, so there was never a short trip, was there?
No, it's always long trips. Always with produce and wine, and that's about it.
What did you learn from Dad from that time as a driver? What did you learn? Any tricks of the trade, or?
Oh, I learned everything. You have to listen and learn, otherwise you get a belt in the ear. Hey, no, I learned a lot. Learned how to drive hard, I know that. Back in them days, the old trucks, they didn't have too many brakes and no engine brakes, so you had to learn how to drive pretty steady in the mountains and that. That's where I learned how to drive up there in the mountains, the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, wow.
Pretty hard going.
And you had to be a bush mechanic too, right? Because
You did all your own work back in them days. You had no money, so sometimes at the edge of the road you'd have to do your brakes or pull a diff out or pull a gearbox out and put a clutch in. That'll take you a couple of days. Some days in the freezing cold and the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Graham, how long have you been driving trucks for, mate?
Probably 30, 35 years, I suppose, yeah.
What got you into it?
My old man drove trucks, he had his own trucks, and always wanted to do it. And then sort of got my licence, and then no one could give you a go because you were too young. And
yeah.
So I did other things, and then eventually bought my own truck and never really looked back since.
What was the worst conditions you've ever been in?
I can remember with Dad in the Blue Mountains. We were stuck there for 4 days in about, I don't know, it must have been -6 or 7 degrees. And we had no sleep, and I slept on the floor of the Mac. And I think we were there for about 4 or 5 days, locked in the snow. And then they come down and ploughed a road through, and then we got going.
Wow.
But I was wrapped up in overalls and blankets, and the old boy just slept sitting up in the seat, and I slept on the floor.
So were you a bit like with Johnny's old man, how he said, jump across, mate, take the wheel on some of those longer trips?
I remember about 11 years old, old man was going to Sydney and coming back and a bit puffed, and I jumped in behind the wheel, coming across the hay plains, and I had to wake him up. Dad, we need fuel, we're coming into hay. Oh shit, he goes, I jump out. Yeah. And,
how old were you then?
I was about 11, 10, 11.
Oh, wow. You couldn't do that kind of stuff anymore, mate.
No, not anymore, no.
Johnny, a car driver never understands a truckie's life, and a truckie probably gets frustrated with a car driver's life because they're just different worlds, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. Half of them don't understand. Apart from they pass you anywhere, they pass you on hills, they pass you on blind bends. They don't really understand. Some do, some don't.
So did you always think this was going to be something you would do?
It's something I always wanted to do, but never sort of the opportunities probably never came up. But as you know, time goes on, you sort of things come about and you just get into it. Yeah.
Did you think you'd be doing this 30 odd years later?
No, no.
What's the hard bit about being a long distance trucker? Is it the loneliness? Is it the
I know. I don't get lonely. Never got lonely. I haven't. It's just a lot of hours. Like my daily trips at the moment is about 15, 16 hour a day, every day. You know, 13 and a half, 14 hours of driving. So up to Moree every day and back to Mildura.
So it's pretty well all you've ever known.
Yeah, that's all I've done. As soon as I turned 18, I got my licence and away I went.
What do you love about it?
Oh, it's the freedom, and you get to move around everywhere and see different people and go different places. And there's some hard times too, you know, things go wrong, but you just got to deal with them.
That's so cool. How many? Have you ever wondered how many? Well, it was miles to begin with, wasn't it?
I've done it 10 million k's now.
10 million?
Yeah, so I'll clock them up now.
Holy cow!
So probably finish up this year.
Do you ever look at sunsets and sunrises and stuff?
Yeah,
Do you see the beauty?
Yeah, I love them. It's the best time of the day.
Yeah, right.
Out there every morning, sunsets. Every morning I got a sunset. A sunset and sunrise every day.
You must have seen some incredible things on the road. You know, like backpackers riding push bikes out in the middle of nowhere, and you know.
I see them all the time across the Hay Plains. Shuffles, Swagman, he's still out there. He's been out there about 35 years.
Really?
You know the Swaggy that was on TV a few years ago?
Yeah.
See him all the time. Stopped a few times and give him a couple of bottles of drink, an orange.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, he's shuffle, we call him, because he just shuffles along everywhere now. He can hardly walk.
Wow, so it's like Cliff Young.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
no, you see quite a few push bikes out there.
So you do your own stuff. You're a subby. You sort of drive for yourself, or how does that work?
Yep. I used to work for a lot of other people, and
Yep.
now I got my own trucks. I've got 3 trucks and cart a lot of stuff for other people around, like up in the bush, and cart firewood for a few blokes, take it away for them. And
So you got the pressures of being a subby, where you've got your own truck costs, you've got insurance costs, you got when the truck's off the road, you can't just go and get a new one from GTS and use that one, right?
No. That's why I've got 2 prime movers, so I've always got a spare one, got an older one, and try and keep them all working at the same time.
Be honest with me, caravans.
Oh yeah.
Are they the bane of a trucker's life? Are they?
Actually, they're a bit better these days, the old caravans. They get along a bit better, and they understand now. A lot of them are truckers.
Yeah.
So actually, it's pretty busy week this week with caravans.
Yeah, I suppose in holiday periods and
had a few today, all going north and going south. They're going everywhere.
because back in the day, your dad could have turned a few over if he wasn't careful. The old Caramels and the Viscounts, they wouldn't have been very stable on the single axles.
No, I've seen a lot of caravans with the arse blown out of them. Back in the 70s and the 80s, the old Franklins and the old Bondwood ones. They've seen quite a few of them, hatches blown out of the roofs. Yeah, no, good old days.
Is it a lonely gig?
It can be, but you sort of learn to live with it. I don't mind being by myself.
Yep.
And no one there telling you what to do. That's what I find hard, trying to work for somebody else.
The industry's probably changed so much.
Changed heaps now.
What's still the same?
Well, it's all go now. There's, it's all non-stop. You got to go, you got to be there. Everything's on time. That's the best thing out is fatigue management. That's the best thing to happen. The transport, all time slotted, and companies like this, of allocators, they make sure that you get ample time to get there, so you can have a 7-hour break, then get up and unload.
Yep.
And that's the best thing out. There's no such thing as working all day and driving all night no more.
What's the most unique thing you've ever carted?
Unique thing.
Johnny said his old man actually carried, was it 4 elephants? 4 elephants.
Look,
Has there been a cool car once, or has there been a,
probably a couple of years ago, I carried a big sawmill, like, had to get cranes and lift it on there. It was a big, huge thing, oversized, and drag it out of the bush and in through town. That was a bit of a challenge, but yeah, we got it there. Got it all in one piece.
So how many years have you been driving legally?
49 in August. So,
49 years?
Yeah. I might try and go to 50, I don't know yet. I got to get a couple of hips and all that put in yet.
What else would you do, mate?
Probably go and work with Jason.
Okay. How has the industry changed? Like, in what ways is it better to start with? Is it better?
Probably, I wouldn't say better. It's probably a bit more regulated now, which is probably a good thing. But logbooks and that make it hard now, and you can't do the hours you used to be able to do. Like,
Yep.
Yeah. So things have changed. Sometimes some for the better, some for the worst.
Yeah. Are you a music bloke? Are you tune into podcasts or anything? Like, what do you do out there?
I just listen to the wireless. That's all I do.
The wireless?
I'm not into podcasts.
Have they still got wirelesses in these trucks, Johnny?
Yeah, right.
I love that you said wireless.
Yeah. No, I still got, do that a fair bit. Have the old radio going all the time.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you just tune out? Like, is it, does your brain ever stop when you're out there? Is it just like
No.
you just...
No.
That's got to be the hard part.
Switching off.
Yeah.
I can switch off on footy trips when I'm driving a bus. That's easy. So I don't listen to anyone in the background. No, it's always on.
And I noticed...
I have a lot of sleeps.
I noticed that roadhouses, you always know when there's a good truck stop.
Yeah, plenty of trucks here.
So the word gets out, doesn't it? Like your food,
There's not many of them left, though.
Isn't there?
Nah. All the old good cooks here are all gone now.
Yeah, well, it's hard to get staff, isn't it?
Gilgandra is still a good roadhouse. Hay is still a good roadhouse here. It's a couple of them up that road there. It's about up the Newell Highway, and you got Gilgandra and Narrabri, Moree, Hay. That's about it.
Yeah. What's the best truckies meal? Have you got to go to?
Look, bacon and eggs usually for breakfast, and probably usual thing, steak and eggs, I suppose, for night time or in the middle of the night, whatever.
Yeah. What's the coolest thing that you've transported? Have you ever been aware of anything that's like super cool that you've done and gone, oh, that's pretty cool, or you don't care?
What was the Commodore, Jace? Back in the
VT. VT Commodore.
The VT Commodore prototype.
Yeah, right.
I loaded at the airport in Sydney, and I had to overnight at Adelaide. Be in Adelaide the next day, and they had all these, big wigs there and designers, and
yep.
It was in a crate there, and I asked could I stay there and have a look at it, and they pulled the crate apart, and there was this prototype Commodore. That was about the coolest thing I ever transported.
Yeah, right.
So it was pretty good.
I thought you might have said a Lamborghini or a Maserati, but no, she's a...
Tell them about Pop's elephant transport.
Oh,
See, now this is what I'm talking about, Jay. So you transported an elephant?
No, 4 elephants. My dad did, and his best mate Schultzy, Russell Schultz from Adelaide. They coming home from Perth because they used to run Perth a fair bit, and the circus broke down with the elephants in it, so they pulled them over, and they were coming home empty. And anyhow, Dad and Russell, they put 2 elephants on each trailer, flat top trailers, put the gates around, and they brought them across the Nullarbor into Adelaide there, and the old elephants were cutting a few tricks with their trunks going out, swaying them around. And Dad, I'll never forget, Dad come home and said that. We thought he was all bullshitting a bit, but that was true. They didn't have phones back in them days, they could take pictures.
That was Smokey and the Bandit 3. There was an elephant involved with Dom DeLuise, I reckon.
Yeah, that was too, yeah. That was funny. Yeah. The old vet.
What's the nicest truck you've ever driven?
909s, 900s, Kenworths. Oh, actually, the best truck I ever had was a Magnum. Beautiful truck, cab over truck.
What's the newest one you've driven? Like with the most amount of K's on it?
Oh, I just got out of the Volvo. I did 1.5 million in that in just under 4 years.
What's the ultimate trucky meal, mate?
Can
you was it a mixed grill? You can't go wrong. Is it steak and eggs? What's the
mixed grill? Yeah, probably a mixed grill, steak, eggs and chips. Steak and veggies, I suppose, yeah. That's about it, yeah.
There's a lot more healthy options on the road than there used to
yeah.
be too. It was either steak and chips or steak and chips back in the day, wasn't it?
I just have schnitzel and veggies most of the time.
Yeah, right.
At night time, or poached eggs and grilled tomato for breakfast.
So I asked you before about the coolest thing that you've driven, that you've transported. A truck full of KTM motorcycles bound for the biggest desert race in Australia would count right up there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'll be hanging off the back. It will be.
Yeah.
Not like last year, had about, 7 motorbikes in there, and we blew a turbo at Stirling. We're there all night, freezing cold, my brother-in-law. And anyhow, they boys come along and fixed it about midnight, I think it was, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. But yeah, no, then I had to climb up in the race truck and get all the tools out. You reckon that wasn't bloody fun.
Were you cursing the team owner at any point, which may or may not be your son?
No, we were actually, Graeme and I were laying in the bunk, wondering how we're going to pull the turbo apart, because we had a shifter and a screwdriver, and Jason rang up and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, we're laying here deciding on where we're going to get some tools from," and he goes, "You pair of dickheads, you got $11,000 worth sitting in the race truck on the back of the trailer." Graeme and I looked at each other and felt like real dickheads. so then we got into it and pulled the turbo and all that apart, and a couple of young blokes were coming a bit later with the turbo, and they were mechanics, so they swung right into it and fixed it up.
Hey.
Your favourite highway or favourite strip of road? Is there a favourite stretch you like to?
Probably couldn't think of one off the top of my head, no.
Longest trip you've ever done?
Probably crossed to Perth. Yeah, crossed the Nullarbor. Actually, Nullarbor is probably not a bad stretch of road to come and think of it. Yeah, nice and straight, nice and quiet.
How do you occupy your mind on trips like that? Are you a music guy? Are you a podcast guy? Has anyone stepped into the podcast world? Are you mainly music?
No, not really. Yeah, just listen to music and you sort of think of things that you should be doing and things that have got to be done, and just how to get to where you got to go. And there's always something to think about, always something to do.
Is that always good? On long road trips and stuff, my mind tends to wander a bit. There's a lot of things you start thinking about.
Oh yeah. You probably do think about things too much, I suppose, but you just sort of deal with it.
Doing 2 Up with the legendary Johnny G, Jack. He's got a multitude of different nicknames as Stewie. What's it like with him?
There's never a dull moment. He's sort of, he's set in his ways, but he's been doing it a long time too, so you just go with the flow, and we've known each other for a long time, so yeah.
What happens on the road stays on the road?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You would obviously know, the ins and outs of the highways and the road systems right throughout the country. Are there things you've learned over the years that you just couldn't learn any other way?
Oh, definitely. Like it's like anything. The best way to learn is to actually get out there and do it. And you can't sort of learn it off the internet. You got to actually go out there and do it. How
long's the trip to Alice to Finke?
About 20 hours, I think.
Yep.
That's about it.
Pretty cruisy gig for you compared to hauling.
It's good going up there. Good road. It's fantastic. It is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So be a good trip. Hopefully, it's a good trip this year.
I'm sure it will be, mate.
Hey.
I'm sure it will be. And hopefully they'll get a win at Finke as well, which would really cap it off if you brought home the number 1 bike at Finke.
Well, we've only got one rider left, haven't we, Jace?
Maybe.
Yeah, all the family keep getting bloody injured. You know that motorbikes are more dangerous than trucks, Johnny?
Oh, yes, certainly. Been around them all my life, mate.
What are your trucks? What do you currently drive?
I got this Sterling, 2002 Sterling.
Yep.
And I've got 2 trailers, pull road train tippers, and mainly just for the tippers, cart firewood for other blokes, take cart away for them, and got a drop deck. Actually, next week got to go move a couple of loaders from the other side of town, bring them back here, and so there's always something different to do.
Have you ever worked out how many Ks overall you've done? Would you even like to guess?
Be in the millions for sure.
Yeah.
It'd have to be. Yep. Never really sat down and worked it out.
Is the trucker life for everybody?
No, I wouldn't think so. If you miss home, you're probably better off do it.
Yeah.
And you got to have an understanding partner, like wife. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be heading to Finke with the legendary Johnny G coming up soon.
Yep.
That'd be one of the coolest things that you do is, you know.
Oh yeah, look forward to it. Yeah, love it. Last year was a bit of a challenge there. Sort of halfway there, we'd done the turbo, and that was a bit different. But we dealt with it, got it apart, and when by the time the boys turned up, and yeah.
So when you say you dealt with it, tell me at what point you realised that you had a truck full of tools. Like a whole motor desert racing team full of tools.
Yeah. Well, we diagnosed what the problem was, and Johnny goes, "Oh, we got any tools?" And I looked in the dog box, and all I found was a shifter and a screwdriver. So we can't do much of that, John. And so we sort of both jumped in the bunk together. He said, "Oh, don't tell anybody." I said, "Nah, she's all good." And then Jason rings up and he goes, "You bloody dickheads, there's a race truck full of tools." So, yeah. And then John had to get up there and climb over the motorbikes to get to the toolboxes. So I think this year, if we do it again, it's full. We have to make sure we can get to the toolboxes.
Better prepared this time.
Yeah.
You love what you do?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Wouldn't probably have it any other way, I reckon.
So when you look back on this one day, if you do pull the pin and you park her up for the last time, what memories will you take from that?
Oh, heaps of memories. Just seeing everything and doing everything, driving all different vehicles and meeting all different people. There's some good people out there.
You think you'll miss it?
Not really.
Is it almost time?
Yeah. No, I won't miss it, but a little bit. I love driving machinery. It's good fun.
You know, there's a bumper sticker you sometimes see without trucks, Australia stops.
That's right, of course.
Is that what people probably don't have a grasp of?
That's right. Wasn't it for us, would be nothing around. You only got to look at it when there's a shortage on, strikes and all that sort of stuff. There's nothing on supermarkets. Everyone's nearly cutting each other's throats to buy a tucker, eh? So
yeah.
When the COVID was on, we never stopped. We were flat out all the time.
Yeah.
Kept through the borders was all right, but we kept going pretty well.
I'll let you get some sleep, mate. You're on the road tomorrow morning. What time do you start tomorrow?
Probably about 4:30.
Nice.